Welcome, learners. It's wonderful to have you back for week 3. Remember, every session you attend takes you one step closer to mastering entrepreneurship and building the confidence to turn ideas into action. Today, we shall discuss on business models and lean startup. Business Model Canvas is a strategic management tool that helps entrepreneurs describe and visualize how a venture creates, delivers, and captures value on a single page. It is especially powerful for startups because it converts abstract ideas into concrete and testable business logic that can be quickly iterated as evidence from market emerges. Origins and purpose. The business model canvas was developed by Alexander and Yusuf, building on research into business model, ontology, and codified in their influential handbook Business Model Generation, published in 2010. Their objective was to offer a shared language and visual template for entrepreneurs, managers, and innovators so that they could design, challenge, and pivot business models more systematically rather than relying on lengthy business plans. The canvas organized the core elements of a business into 9 interrelated building blocks that together describes customers' value proposition, infrastructure, and financial viability. Because all of these blocks appears on a single page, the tool encourages holistic thinking and supports collaborative workshops where multidisciplinary teams co-create and refine the model in real time. The 9 building blocks, the 9 components of the BMC are widely standardized across practice and literature. Customer segments value, prepositions channel customers, relationships revenue streams key, resource key, activities key, partnerships, and cost structure. Each block prompts specific strategic questions that guide founders from idea to execution while making assumptions explicit so they can later be validated through customer discovery and experimentation. In practice, many incubators, accelerators, and business schools use the Canvas as an entry level framework for startup design because it compresses complex strategic thinking into a practical worksheet suitable for early stage ventures with limited time and resources. For a founder building an investable story, the 9 blocks together form a coherent narrative about who the venture serves, what problem it solves, how it reaches and retains customers, and how the economics will work at scale. Customer segments. Customer segments describe the distinct group of people or organizations that a startup intend to serve and around which the rest of the model is designed. Defining segments involves moving beyond broad demographic to understand specific job pains and gains for each group so that offerings and messages can be tailored more precisely. For early stage ventures, identifying and prioritizing segments is critical because resources are scarce and not every possible user can be targeted simultaneously. Entrepreneurs typically differentiate between early adopters who are willing to experiment with a new solution and later mainstream segments which may demand stronger evidence of value before switching from incumbent alternatives. Value proposition. The value proposition captures the bundle of products and services that create value for a given customer segment by solving an important problem or satisfying a meaningful need. It focuses on the specific benefits or outcomes customers care about, such as cost saving, risk reduction, convenience, improved performance status, or emotional reassurance rather than simply listening technical features. In startup practice, a sharp value proposition expresses why customers should choose one venture over competitors and what makes the offering unique or significantly better than the status quo. Many teams use complementary tools such as the value proposition canvas to deepen the fit between customer jobs, pains, gains, and the solution proposed before committing to large scale development. Channels. Channels describe how a venture communicates with and reaches its customer segments to deliver the value proposition across the stages of awareness evaluation, purchase delivery, and after sale support. These pathways may include owned channels such as company websites, mobile apps, sales teams, and retail outlets, as well as partner channels such as distributors, marketplaces, and affiliate networks. Selecting effective channel matters for both growth and unit economics because acquisition cost, conversion rates, and customer experience differ dramatically. Because options such as direct online sales and multi layer distribution chains, startups frequently experiment with multiple channels in parallel using digital analytics and qualitative feedback to identify the mix that yields sustainable reach and acceptable acquisition cost for priority segments. Next is customer relationship. Customer relationships specify the type of interaction a business establishes with each segment, ranging from highly personal assistant to self service communities, automated services, or long term partnerships. The design of relationship should align with expectation of the segment and with the economics of the model because high touch human support can be valuable but costly, whereas automated or community driven models may scale more efficiently. From a startup perspective, relationship strategies influence churn, retention, and lifetime value by shaping onboarding education, support, and ongoing engagement. Many digital ventures leverage data and automation to personalize communication at scale, combining onboarding flows, in app messaging, and periodic human interaction to balance experience quality with cost. Next is revenue streams. Revenue streams describe how a company generates income from each customer segment, including the pricing mechanism and payment models it adopts. Typically, patterns include one time sales, subscription usage based fees, licensing brokerage, commissions, advertising, and freemium models, where a core service is free but premium features are monetized. For startups, revenue design is central to viability because it determines not only whether the venture can cover its cost structure but also how predictable and scalable cash flows will be over time. Founders often test multiple monetization hypotheses through small experiments such as A/B pricing test or limited premium features before locking in a primary revenue architecture that supports growth and investor expectation. Key resources are the most important assets required to make the business model work across creation, delivery, and capture of value. These resources may be physical, such as manufacturing facilities, or hardware intellectuals such as patents, brands, priority algorithms, and content human such as specialized talent or organizational culture, or financial such as credit lines and investor capital. Startups must decide which resources to own, develop, or control directly and which to access through partners, since this choice will affect capital intensity, flexibility, and speed. For example, a software venture may treat its engineering team and code base as core assets while using cloud infrastructure as an external resource to avoid heavy upfront investments. Key activities. Key activities are the most important actions a company must perform to operate into business model and deliver the value proposition reliably. Depending on the model, these may include activities such as product development, platform maintenance, marketing and sales, supply chain management, customer support, or community management. Clarifying key activities help entrepreneurs allocate limited time and resources to what truly drives value instead of dispersing effort across non-critical tasks. For lean startups, the discipline of focusing on a small set of core activities also supports rapid experimentation, continuous learning, and incremental product improvement rather than big bang launches. Next is key partnership. Key partnerships capture the network of suppliers, allies, and other organizations that help a business model function through resource sharing, risk reduction, or access to customers. Partnerships can take many forms, including strategic alliances between non competitors, collaborations between competitors, joint ventures, and classic buyer suppliers relationships. For startups, the right partners can compensate for missing capabilities, accelerate market entry, and increase credibility, especially in capital intensive or regulated industries. However, over reliance on a single powerful partner may create dependency risk, so founders must balance leverage with resilience by diversifying suppliers' platforms or distribution agreements wherever feasible. Next is cost structure. Cost structure describes all significant cost incurred to operate a business model, including both fixed expenses such as rent, salaries, and infrastructure, and variable cost that scale with transaction volume. A model may be predominantly cost driven, seeking lean operations, automation, and low price, or value driven, emphasizing premium service design and brand experience even at higher unit costs. Understanding cost drivers is vital for startups because runaway and burn rate determine how much time exists for experimentation before additional funding is required. Financial projections derived from the canvas also allows team to test whether identified revenue streams can plausibly cover and exceed the cost base at target scale, giving founders and investors an early signal about the robustness of the opportunity. Strategic benefits for startups. The BMC acts as both a diagnostic and design tool by making the logic of a venture explicit and visible, which helps founders uncover inconsistencies, gaps, and risky assumptions before committing heavily on resources. Research on early stage businesses indicates that entrepreneurs value the canvas for the strategic clarity it provides, particularly in mapping values, propositions, customer segments, and resource requirements in a conscious visual format. For teams and stakeholders, the shared one page structure enhances communication because everyone can see and debate the same model rather than interpreting long documents differently. Investors also appreciate the canvas because it provides a quick yet structured overview of how a startup intends to grow, making it easier to compare opportunities and challenge weak or missing elements during the due diligence. Using BMC iteratively in practice, the canvas is most powerful when treated as a living document, continuously updated as evidence accumulates rather than a one time planning artifact. Lean startup methodologies encourage entrepreneurs to start with hypotheses in each block, then run experiments with customers, partners, and prototypes to validate, refine, or pivot elements of the model. Teams often begin with a draft version completed in a workshop, then revisit the canvas at significant learning milestones such as after customer interviews, pilot launches, or fundraising rounds. Over time, this iterative use supports strategic agility, that is, the ability to adapt quickly to new information and market shifts while maintaining coherence across all nine building blocks. Common pitfalls and best practices. Several recurring pitfalls appear when startups first adopt the BMC, including describing blocks with vague buzzwords under specifying customer segments and ignoring cost and revenue realism. Another issue is filling in the canvas from an internal perspective rather than beginning with deep customer insight, which can lead to models that look attractive on paper but fail in the market. Best practice involves grounding each block in data and direct observation wherever possible using short, clear statements and avoiding unnecessary jargon. Founders should also check vertical and horizontal alignment, asking whether each customer segment is clearly matched with a distinct value proposition, appropriate channel relationship, type revenue logic, and supporting activities and resources. BMC in comparison with Lean Canvas. While the origin BMC is widely used, some startups adopt the Lean Canvas, a modified version that emphasizes problem solution metrics and unfair advantage tailored to early stage tech ventures. The lean canvas replaces or reframes several blocks such as key partners and key resources to focus more directly on problem validation and traction, which can be useful in highly uncertain innovation contexts. Founders can choose between these frameworks depending on context and stage, using the classic BMC for a broader strategic picture and the lean canvas when rapid experimentation around problem solution fit is the main priority. In many ecosystems, coaches encourage teams to move fluid between both canvases using whenever lens clarifies decision about customers, product, and growth at a given time. Conclusion. For startup practice business model, Canvas BMC provides a structured yet flexible way to startup founders to design, discuss, and refine the logic of their ventures on a single page. By working systematically through the nine building blocks and treating the canvas as an evolving tool grounded in customer evidence, entrepreneurs can increase strategic clarity, improve team alignment, and enhance the credibility of their business story for partners and investors. When integrated with lean experimentation, customer discover, and financial modeling, the BMC becomes a practical compass that guides startups from idea to scalable business while keeping focus on the central question of how the ventures creates, delivers, and captures value in its chosen markets.